I've been enjoying doing the Facebook Lives, and I hope that you guys are enjoying it too. I think this is my 4th one, so if you've missed any of them, you can just scroll back on our page and just catch them all. And there's one of them where I did 2 cards in one. And that one, the first 20 seconds, it was silent. I'm not sure what happened with the sound, so if you start watching it and there's no sound, just fast forward about 20 seconds and you'll get it. So anyway, what I wanted to show you is how to make your own wreath using DeNami stamps, and it's very, very simple. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I like to do quick and easy cards, but I want them to look like you spent a lot of time doing it. I want it to look, you know, I still want to have the wow factor of doing the cards. So I'll go ahead and show you exactly how to do that. So let's get situated. So I'm going to change this over so that you can watch my hands. Okay. I'm going to switch this over. There you go. All right. Can you all see me still right here? All right. Okay, let me just turn on this light here, and hopefully that'll help to give some more light here. All right, we're going to start off with the white cardstock. If you've been following me, you know this is my favorite thing to do. I like to make my own backgrounds. So I'm going to start off with the DeNami cardstock, and it's basically an A2 size. Fold it in half, and it has a little bit of a texture to it, but not so much that it affects the stamping. So just fold it. And the nice thing is it's thin enough where you don't need a bone folder, and it's not going to leave any cracks or any kind of strange marks here. You can just use your fingers like that and get a real crisp fold. So it's very simple like that. Okay, so I'm going to use this stamp set. This is the CLGD011 Solid Rose Accents. This is a very versatile one because you can use these not only to make like a bouquet, but you can also use it for backgrounds and other things too. So I'm going to show you how to make your own wreath. So I'm going to set this aside for now, and then taking another white cardstock like this, I will take a punch, and this one I happen to have a Marvy punch. But you can use just a die, scallop die, and then just punch out a circle. It doesn't have to be a scallop, but I just happen to have that one. So I'm going to open this up and get the blossom. Actually, it's a rose. So just peel this off right here. And then using my, actually I forgot to bring the smaller acrylic block, but this will work. So I'm just going to take a pink. You can use any color that you like. I like to do this hot pink. And just stamp it. So in order for you to stamp it and not run out of room, just kind of like do the opposite edges and then work your way. Because if you just keep going in a circle, you might run out of room. But at least this way you can kind of space them out. You can have them tighter, or they can be more apart, depending on what you want to do. They don't have to be exact or perfect. So that's what I have right there. And you could turn them, they don't have to all be going the same direction. So I'm just going to set that aside. And then I'm going to take from another stamp set, this little one. This is a Petit-Four stamp set, and I'm going to use these tiny leaves. This one already has the, this one already has the wood block, but you can get this in a clean version. So just a leaf like this. And I've used this stamp before in one of the other ones, where you can make your own stems by doing a little line. We also have a stitch line that you can use and then put the blossom on top, or you can just use it by itself as a background. I'm going to use this stamp, the VersaFine Onyx Black, and then I'm just going to stamp this kind of in between here as a filler. So you could just stamp them in different directions. So it kind of looks a little bit more more random when you do it that way. So just kind of all around. Very simple. And you can actually even have some coming off of it. But the reason why I do it on a circle is it allows me to make it into a wreath form. Another thing you could do is if you want to go directly on the cardstock, if you stamp, we have lots of large circle stamps. You could stamp that in a very pale color like one of the Versa Magic, and then just stamp that into the shape of a circle. You can also do it in the shape of an oval. It doesn't have to be a circle. So now I'm going to take one of the Tombow markers, because this works well with the VersaFine ink pad, and just going to color this in. The leaves, very simple like that. And this is the color number 133. It's like a lime color, but you can just use the colors that you have. What I like to do is, if you have different colors, get various shades of the same one. You know, maybe you could get a lime green, and then maybe a leaf green, and then maybe a darker, like an evergreen color. That way you can layer colors together for dimension. So here I'm just going to add little touches of the darker green. So if you take a look, you could see that there's more variation instead of just a flat one shade of green. You could either do like one long half like this, or just one end. It doesn't really matter. So just like that. Very simple. And because the leaf is pretty small, don't fuss too much with it. Okay, so here's the wreath. Look how simple that was. I'm going to stamp this little Swiss polka dot. It's a really tiny one, but I like it for just to give it a little bit of some more interesting background to it. So I'm just going to stamp this, make sure it's cleaned off here. And it's very faint, so you may want to use a darker color, but I'm just doing the aloe vera. It's kind of like a good filler. You see that? Just lightly. So it kind of softens the stark white. And you can be pretty free about that. You could do a dark green too, and it'll just add more contrast. So here's your wreath. Very simple. And then you could either cut out the center if you want to give it some, you know, just some area of interest. I have a X-Acto knife, or you could just stamp it with a message on in the center. I'm just using a little X-Acto knife here. Just going to cut out the center. And notice it's not perfect, because it doesn't have to be, because leaves aren't perfect. So I'm just going to do that. And I purposely didn't cut right there, because I wanted to fill in with a couple more polka dots there. There we go. That's a little more filled in the way I like it. Look how cute that is. Very simple. So then I'm going to apply this over this one, but let's see. I want to decide what I want to do for the background here. So in this case, I think I'll do a little, let's see. I'm going to do the little stitch border here. So this is our stitch border. And let me decide what I want to do here. So the way I have it here, I might want to do, let's see. I could either do the all-around background and leave this part open. What I might do is, in order to not worry about having to be exact in missing it, I might just do the whole background and then cover up that center piece. So let's do that. So I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to use the VersaFine black. And this is a really cool stamp. You know, when you see it, it doesn't look like much. You can do it to do, let's say you're stamping a black strip and you stamp this in white. It looks like the divider of a road. So you could, you know, put a little bike on it or a little car on it. I've also done this where this was a stem for the flowers. So you just use this part, and then it could be as long or as short as you want. Obviously, look how long it is. It could be short, and then you could do the little double leaves that I already showed you. So here I'm going to use it as a background. So I'm going to stamp it like this. Start with one, and then with the same distance all the way across, just keep stamping it. So I use my wood as a guide, so I know how far to stamp it. If you use a cling, you can just eyeball it, just like that. And I plan to go back the other direction. So same thing here. This looks really good when you're stamping this in white on a black cardstock, because the stitches look really, they really stand out. Okay, well, I missed a little spot just because it's not long enough here, so I'm just gonna fill in a little bit. Just eyeball it. I mean, if you want to use a stamp positioner to be exact, you can, but I don't like to fuss too much, so it's not going to be exactly straight, but enough to where it's going to be passable. So, okay, so this is my background. Look how cool that is. See, you don't have to invest in a lot of pattern papers. You could just make your own using our stamps. So then I'm going to put this on top, but because I don't want this to be too busy in the background, I'm just going to take another cardstock here. You can just save your scraps. So I'm just going to figure out how much I want right here. And then you just use your scissors and then just do a rough cut of the wreath. But I'm going to cut it roughly, and then I'll make it smaller than that because obviously the center is smaller than that. So I'm just going to cut this just enough so that it's like that. There. So I may not want to have it exactly attached to it. I might want it to be standing out from it. Do you see, for a little dimension? So what I'll do here is, let me attach these two together using mounting tape. So I mentioned this trick before where I just tear it off as I go. And depending on how far away you want it from the background will determine whether you do like 2 layers or 3 layers thickness. I'm going to probably do at least 2, maybe 3. So just tear as you go. And you can even do just a little tiny bit. It doesn't have to be even as big as squares as I've done right here. So like that. I think I might do 3 layers so it really pops out. So like that. Let's do it again here with the other 2. 1 and then 1 more. And now I'm going to attach it to this. I don't even have to have it on there. Just like this. Then I can attach it here. But what I might want to do is I might want to have a little message on in the center. So I could either stamp this inside it, but notice that the wreath is in the way. So I might want to stamp the words first and then just attach it. So I just loosely laid it on top. So I'm just going to take this. We also have some smaller sentiments, so that might be your option too. But, you know, even if it's just a little message is peeking out, that's fine. Like this one. And then here I could at least center it. So if I wanted to do it a little bit here, I don't want it exactly, it almost looks like a square the way it's cut out, so I didn't want it to be exactly like that. So I'll put it like this. I'm going to attach it, and I could actually make this even pop out further, but I'm just going to do it directly. I'm going to use an ATG gun, which is this one we have online here. Just attach it like that, a couple of strips, and right here. Now I'm going to put a little bow on it, but before I do that, I want to show you this. This is something we have online. It's our 3D crystal lacquer. It's a pearl set. The neat thing about this is a lot of you are using either rhinestones or pearls. This one allows you to do any size and shape. So you're not dependent on whatever is on your sheet of paper that you peel off. You can make it any size you want. And the other cool thing is you can actually make it different colors. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to put this on. This is kind of like a lilac. So I'm just going to put it in the center of these roses. And it kind of peaks a little bit because it's kind of a little thicker, so you might want to push down on it and then pull it out. But it'll settle once it relaxes a little bit. So like that. Okay, so then I put that on there. But I'm going to put a little glitter on top. And that's the neat thing too, is I don't have to just have the pearl. I can actually have it glitterized. I made that word up, glitterize. So I'm going to put this on here. And look at that. But if you could take a, if you could see from the side, there's a little dimension to that. So that's the pink one. I'm going to add some other ones to it, and you can see that it really changes the look of it. So now I'm going to add this green. Okay, so here's the green, and I'll add that just kind of in between. This is a great filler also. This is a brand new bottle, so it's a little stiff. Okay. I'm afraid it's all going to gush out, but so far it's nice and small. There, it's coming out more easily now. Okay, do you see that? Green. Hope you can see that. But they're very, very tiny little dots of pearl. And then I'm going to add some glitter to it. But I'm going to show you how you can change how the glitter looks. What I did earlier just now is I put pink, kind of like that strawberry freeze, over the that fuchsia or that lilac pearl. But this one I'm going to put some yellow on it. So if you know blue and yellow make green, you know that this will just make it a brighter green. Okay, so now, and this yellow is a very cool one. It's translucent. It's translucent, but it's also nice and bright. Look how bright that is. Watch what happens. So take a look. Here's before, and then when I add this to the wet pearl, see that? Hard to see on video, but it really added a lot. I think you're going to see it a lot more when I do this blue. Just so that you could see the variation, I'm going to put a blue on here with a yellow glitter. So then you could see how it really pops and how it really changes the color. So here's the blue. So you saw the green, and it made it the green brighter, but watch what happens when I do the blue. This one flows a lot faster. So it's not going to stay blue. Oops, that one kind of peaked over there. See what happens when you do that? I got a trick to show you. When it stretches out like that, you just take your X-Acto knife. You just kind of slide it back over and fix it like that. Same thing here. That one's a little bit easier to fix. There. Do you see that? See, I'm just fixing it right here. Once it dries a little bit, it actually can scrape off. So notice that there's always ways to fix things. So now watch the blue, and then I'm going to put this on top, and it's going to magically transform it from blue to green. It's a dark green. Look how beautiful that is. Very simple, but cool. And the neat thing too is this glitter, you can use it for other crafts. You can, if you do fabric painting, you could apply this to the wet fabric paint, whether it's the kind that you brush on or the kind that you squeeze on with a bottle. It'll go through the wash and it won't tarnish because it's not, it's just a, I'm not sure what that material is, but it's not a metallic where it'll tarnish. So you can be sure of that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bow to this. So let me reach over here to my spool. I'll show you my spool. Look at this cool spool. It's got my ribbon just sitting nearby. And then I'm just going to do a little, I think it's about a 3/8 of an inch grosgrain. 1/4 inch to me is a little too narrow. So this is, so what you do is just, I've showed this before. What you do is you don't start with the knot, you go directly to your loop. because that'll create more of a streamlined bow. And then you just, the key is making sure that knot is really, really super tight. So what you do is you just pull, tug on the tails just to make sure that the loops aren't so long, and then tighten the loops. Just keep doing it until you get the size you want. So let's say I wanted a bigger bow, I would just pull on the loops just to make it bigger like this. See that? But if I want it smaller, I pull on the tails. But make sure that this middle knot is super tight, because that's what's going to keep your bow shaped nicely. Because what it does is it cinches this, and this will create a fuller looking bow, but then also it won't come undone. So this is about the size that I'd want. So now I'm just going to trim the edges. Notice I'm going this direction, almost like an arrow going up, so I angle it that way. I'll do the same thing here. See that? And then I could either do it on the top or on the bottom. Let's see. Doesn't really matter. I'll do it at the top. But because I want the tails to hang down a little bit, I'm going to pull up here. See, the thing is, when the knot is tight, it gives you a little chance to, kind of manipulate it a little bit to make it go the way you want. And then the way to attach it is you take your ATG gun. I've shown this before. It's my favorite adhesive. You just put it right on your fingers like this, and just attach it like this. And I'm going to do it right here. I just break it off as I need, like that. And then the neat thing is, let's say the tails aren't going the way you want. You can actually put this behind the tails and actually lay it the way you want. So it appears like it's hanging perfectly, but it's actually being placed where you want. You can also do this with gift wrap too. Just use that ATG gun for wrapping your gifts. So I'll put this here, and then I'll just make the tail hang down just a little bit more than it is. Look how cute that is. And let me see, I think I have some rhinestones nearby here. I've got this rhinestone, and I'm just going to peel one off and put it right in the middle of the bow. So it kind of breaks it up a little bit. So right here has already an adhesive on it. But the cool thing about the ATG gun is, let's say I had rhinestones with no adhesive, I can just put it right on. But look how cute that is. Beautiful card. And it didn't take hardly any time. And the versatility of this stamp set is I can use this and do it like in the these kind of colors, just as a background, like chalk colors, and make a soft background. But here I wanted it to be nice and bold and bright. So, but isn't that pretty? Okay, I'm going to switch back to the face mode. Right, let's go here. Hi, I'm back. Okay, the lighting's not that great here. Okay, there. Hope you guys are enjoying all these tutorials. So as a recap, here's this one, and it has lots of dimension. The lighting over here is a little bit bright, so maybe, I don't know if you could see that okay, but see how it's dimensional like that? Even the pearls are dimensional. I know in this this angle of my mirror, or the front-facing camera, everything's backwards, so I am aware of that, and you should be aware of that too if you're saying that the card is not opening the correct part. Here, I'm going to turn off this light and see. Oh, I think that looks much better, I think. Anyway, is that better? Okay. All right. Well, be sure to follow our Facebook page, and then also I have a private Facebook group where there's a lot more interaction, and then that way you won't miss any of the posts that I do too, because what happens with Facebook is it only goes out to 10% of the fans. So even if you're one of the 5,000 fans that we have, only 500 people are going to be seeing this at any one time. So make sure to do that. But also it really helps if you like and comment, because then it works with the algorithms and they'll show up more frequently on your Facebook feed. Or so that be sure to do that. So if you're interested in the 3D lacquer, just check on our website, and then just go to the search bar. You could just put in crystal lacquer. That's CRYSTAL not CH, but crystal lacquer, and then do a search, and we've got lots of different color combinations. And if you combine it with the glitters, you get lots of options. Because if you put this over the red, it turns it into a hot pink. And if you put this over the light green, it turns it into a bright green. If you put this over the dark blue, it turns it into a dark green. And then if you put this over the black, it really changes it into a cool, iridescent kind of a color. I can't even describe what color it is. But I hope you guys had a great week, and I want to do lots more Facebook posts like this. And I love that you guys are tuning in. Let's see. Let me see if there's any other questions I might have. I'm looking around to see if anything triggers some ideas. Last time I did a card, it was this one. So if you missed it, be sure to scroll back and see the previous ones. That's a fun one. See, that's another fun border, because that one you can do the same kind of background that I did. So let's see. Be sure to comment if there's any questions you have. Be sure to share our page with others so that more people can enjoy this wonderful craft. I love this craft, and I love how versatile it is. You can stamp on fabrics, you can stamp on papers, you can stamp on items, you know, like if you want to stamp on ornaments, you can do that. You just need the various inks that would work with those. And in fact, these work great on ornaments. Those glass ornaments, you could just do little dots on there and just put the glitter on it. It makes it really, really pretty. Or you could do your own design and just do a swirl. I've also done it where you put the year on. So let's say 2017, you could do that for this year. Or you could do future ones. Or you can even personalize by putting names on there. But this is a real fun tool to have for all your crafts. You can even use it on fabrics. I don't suggest you wash with it, but if you do it, let's see, on a hair bow, you can easily just do your own polka dots and add the glitter to it and make it look really cute. But even if you just leave it by itself, it'll look like just pearl dots on top, and that looks really cute too. So tune in. If you're on social media, we're also on Instagram. We have obviously Facebook. There's also YouTube. I'm trying to get the YouTube up and running again. I kind of took a break from that. But all these Facebook Lives, I want to eventually archive it in the YouTube. And let's see, also Twitter, if you're on Twitter. And then Pinterest, too. So be sure to check us out there. So anyway, see you next time. I hope you're having a good day. Thanks so much. Bye.